Painting America. I'm your host, landscape artist Adam Thiele. I'm going to paint as much of the beautiful, diverse American landscape as I can, one painting at a time. Let's get started. Today we are traveling to Florida's Panhandle to paint a roadside farm just north of Pensacola. First thing I like to do is start by laying out the shapes. The shapes and the proportions of how this is going to look and the composition of everything. So let's start creating my horizon. I'm going to have some trees here and using a light burnt sienna brown, and I'm going to have, let's see, some larger trees in this region, and they're going to get smaller and kind of branch out here. The landscape's going to kind of dip into a little valley there. But I like to start usually with the sky. Just get some color laid out across the canvas, just so I can go ahead and move the colors around, get loose. And I'll come in with the clouds here shortly. But let's just get some blue onto the canvas. I'm going to have it a little darker at the top and kind of blend it in as we go. My style is impressionistic. I've been doing it for a number of years, and that seems to be what works best. I like to paint quick, and I use a wet style. And maybe I'm not going for impressionistic, but it sure looks like it when I'm done. But let's get this blue in loosely. Put a little darker at the top here. Everything I paint is something that I took a photograph of, or is a location I was myself and did a sketch and brought it back to the studio. But on this show, Painting America, I'm going to rely on you guys, everybody out there who can send me your pictures so I don't have to do all the traveling and try to cover every portion of the U.S. I'm going to need your help to send me pictures to paint, and together we'll paint America. Painting America, one canvas at a time. This will be the first of the series, and we'll see how it goes, and if we don't like painting this Florida Panhandle and we don't like painting cattle, we'll mix it up. Maybe we'll paint some boats. Send me something from the desert, mountains. I'm open to anything. You send it to me, I'll paint it. Okay, we got that kind of roughed in. I think we're going to go a little lighter at the bottom. All right, doesn't look like much now, but just wait. Just bear with me another half hour. It'll really start taking shape. Let's bring in some of that green in patches here. I'm going to lay out a little tree line in the background. I'll start with my darker colors and then kind of working some of the lighter colors on top. But what I'd like to do is get some of the darkest colors down first, where there's going to be a lot of shadow. I think we're going to have some trees here, right along here, and that'll be underneath. This will be the tree line in the back. It's going to continue all the way across. There's going to be some shadows along here. We've got a little purple, right? Purples and dark, deep blues help create a nice shadow. We're also going to use that for the trunk of the trees. Let's start with a big tree right here, kind of on this little hill. Get a little more brown in there. We're going to have that continue to reach all the way up into the sky, kind of cover this whole portion, right? Maybe branch out this way. But a lot of shadow. I want this part of the canvas to be a little darker. All right, so we're going to work in our dark places where our shadows are going to be. There's some deeper trees in the background here. Might be a little too much purple. Let's get back to some of that brown. All right, so that's going to be kind of the base work of shadows for a big tree here in this right side of the frame. And then I'm going to come in with some smaller trees. And you see this trunk needs to be a little more prominent. All right, let's make another trunk right here maybe. And then we're going to have one up in the foreground, a little closer to the foreground, a little shorter. But still nice growth to it. We're just going to go up from the base of the tree, and I'm going to kind of work my way up. And then I'm going to come in with some lighter colors. I always think blue and these dark, deep purples work really nicely underneath the shadows. Add some purple here. We want these trees kind of just hanging out, reaching out, rather. Okay, we got a nice little tree line, right? Starting from this side of the canvas, kind of reaching down. Just gonna rinse my brush off, switch colors. I want to lighten this up right away. I don't like all that white I see. I'm just gonna kind of bring some of that sunlight in some of these areas, because this will be a summertime painting, so the grass is a little burnt, right? Different areas. I think we'll mix in some flowers as well shortly. But let's get some of that other burnt part of the grass laid in. And I think we're back here. Got some of it peeking through back into these trees, right? When the sun comes in through the trees, we're going to have the sun in this area. So the shadows, sun coming from this area, casting a shadow this way. But where the leaves and the shadows don't reach is going to be touched by the sun. It's okay if they mix a little bit. So back here, the sun's hitting it, right? Way back here, those trees. They're gonna have a little more color on them. So we're gonna use some of the little bit more yellow up on this ridge here, right? Create a little movement. Oops, got a little bit on that trunk. We'll fix that. Just a little bit, right? Maybe we can peek through. It's going to be a little bit of, since I'm already started working with a little bit of the color, I'm going to go ahead and bring some of the sunlight that might be touching this tree trunk. Maybe, let's leave those, maybe form this. And I like to use a little bit of red with my brown to mix it up to add a little bit more of the wood, right? Let's get some of the leaves going. Let's get some of the green up on top. We're gonna have this side will be a little heavier with the green patterns because the sun is going to be coming from this direction, right? So it'll be dancing on the top. I'm a self-taught painter, so my style may be different than what you've seen before. It's just my approach. I just use mainly my instincts. What I feel would look the best. Which colors, it's not that thought out. Every painting is different. Kind of just go with it. And it what makes it unique. Okay. Keep the green going until I'm satisfied. I think maybe this will be casting big shadow on these two trees here, so we're not going to see much of the green necessarily. I might have added too much. We'll see some more here. And I'm just kind of layering my painting now with my colors. Just kind of blocking, getting all the colors down where I want them, and then I'll adjust them as I go. A little more green, I kind of here, I think is necessary. Grass doesn't grow. It goes kind of wild, no particular direction. And so let me get some more paper towels here. And so I just kind of, you don't have to be real particular, you don't have to draw every blade of grass. We're just kind of getting the colors where we need them to be. More shadow here, right? Let's make that shadow real dark at the base of this tree, and the base of this tree. And again, like I said, this will be the darkest part, so we can add a little darkness on the branches here. Right. I think if we have these kind of really lost in the shadows, these two darker, this dark section. I think the shadows, if we had the sun up above, right, this bigger tree would really block its lower portion of the trees next to it. And then maybe this one's inched out a little further. That's why it's going to be a little lighter. Just going one area at a time. Let's get that under part of the branches. All right, right now I'm using a thicker brush as I kind of block out things, but I will switch to a smaller brush here shortly. Is it time? No, I think back here in this area, I thought I was going to have a little larger tree line, but I don't like the way that's looking. It's looking a little crowded, so let's go ahead and paint over that. Let's make that sky a little lower. We're going to do that, add a little more white so it blends. A lot more white, actually. We'll come back and put in our trees that I'm painting over, the trunks. We'll redo those shortly. But if you've never painted before, there's no reason to wait. There's a lot of great benefits of painting, and you don't have to be an expert. You helps with depression, helps with anxiety, and as long as you don't set your goals real high where you think, oh, how could I do that? I'm never going to be the next, Van Gogh, famous. You're not going to be in any galleries. It doesn't matter. It's about the art of creating and having fun and the enjoyment of taking your mind off of your daily workflow and patterns and just mixing it up, having some fun. I need a little more turpentine. All right, let's step back and look at it. It's doing all right. We're mixing things together. It's looking pretty fun. Let's go ahead and just color over that. Make it a little lighter up here too. And I think it's going to be, I want it much lighter over here. You see my colors are kind of melding together. That means my brush isn't quite clean enough. So let's go ahead and switch brushes. Put the bigger brush down. And go in with a little smaller brush so I can get some more detail. I think what I want to do is maybe add some bales of hay over here. Maybe some buildings. So let's do that. Maybe some barns back here, right? Some maybe some bales of hay here. Which we're going to need some color for those, right? Don't you think we're going to need? I mean, if you see something round out in the field, that color, you're going to know. You're going to know what it is. You have to be real particular. Two round bales of something golden, and then we have to put some cows in here too, but I want to focus more on brightening up this portion, right? Let's get our background a little brighter, a little more colorful. just mixing my brush. I want to add, I don't want to stop and keep adding more paint to my palette. That's why I'm just kind of roll with it here. I like to move. I like to keep my instincts going. I like to move quick. I used to take my time and paint, work on a painting for a month, maybe longer, just to get it exactly like I wanted it, the way I had it in my head, way all the masters used to do it, make it look like a photograph almost, right? Just exactly what I was seeing, trying to capture that. But then I discovered that, I liked it better when you could see the paint moving around. You could see the movement of the brush and the paint on the canvas. It looked more like a painting. I'm not trying to, duplicate something to make it look like a photograph. If I did, I would just take a picture. I'm not trying to make it exact. I'm trying to put my spin on what I saw that day, right? And so I'm doing the first one, like I said, Florida Panhandle. But I want you guys to send me a picture, and I'll paint that. I want you guys to supply me with all the different regions of the United States, and I'll paint those. And together, we'll be painting America. Okay, I'm liking how this is shaping up a little more, and I think we're going to need maybe some white here, right? Maybe we'll get some fields of some white flowers right here. I'm going to have to come in with a little smaller brush for that portion. But I think, if we had some light, maybe the pink colors coming in here, up this part of the painting. Because right now it's kind of flat. I think we need to add some more depth. We can do that by adding subtle bounces of color, and I think a little orange. Maybe there's lots of, this field takes on more colors than just, maybe there's some flowers back here too. I like this color. Let's keep it settle back there. All right, now we need to make this reflection of the trees stand out more, right? Let's get some of that sun. It's going to be coming on this side, right? We discussed this. Maybe hitting the tips. Let me get some the leaves. Sprinkle it in here. My subtle leaf patterns, just, the Impressionist painters, in case you don't know, they would look at a painting and it would just be perfect, all the old masters, and they'd say, well, that's not what I see. When I look onto a field, it looks like the sun is reflecting, just dancing, shimmering off of the leaves, off of the ground. It's not, all one color. It's not cut and dry. There's movement to it, and they wanted to capture that. And they didn't set out to call themselves Impressionists. That's what they were labeled by a local newspaper when they presented their artwork for the first time. But we are presenting, an interpretation of what we saw, or I saw rather, because I'm the one who sent the picture in this time. But next time it'll be what you brought in, what you sent to me. So let's go back. I kind of mess these trunks up a little bit. The base of the tree. And I think I still want to get a little bit of the sunlight coming through here. Not as strong in this part, but definitely make it present. I mean, maybe it's really, really bright. All right, I like how it's kind of making your eye move, right? Just moving it around, some colors up top. I kind of want these to be, these trees in the foreground, or not foreground, these trees in the middle, to kind of be lost, right? So I'm going to make these a little darker. It's purple. I think I'm going to mix some black, which I rarely do. But I really don't want that to be seen. I want that to be kind of overlooked. Maybe we'll add a little darker mix here. All right. And we didn't do much with the shadow here, but there's definitely shadow on this side of the tree. And back here. I think we need some livestock. I think we need some horses grazing, maybe a fence. So I'm going to go with a little smaller brush. Put this one away. And it's the last one I'm going to use to make all my last final detail. And I'm going to add, I think I need a fence. I think I need a nice orange rusted fence going. I think we're going to go through these trees, right? Maybe it gets broken down here. Then it's going to get picked back up in the light, and we're going to use a little brown right here. And when I did that, that drug some of the greens, so let's go back with some brown. Maybe another one here. And then let's add some of the cows, right? Let's add some of those guys. Where are they going to be hanging out? They're going to be hanging out, let's see, right in this open area, right? This one's kind of leaning down here, grazing. Make that a little darker. Maybe another one here, right? More of a profile. And when these, in the sun, these guys, they can present a little orange and brown glow to them when they hit the sun. On this side, maybe the sun's hitting them a little bit. A couple more over here, maybe. Not all cows are black and brown, right? All right, we're getting there. We're getting close to being done. I think maybe we'll add some brush up at the front here. I'm going to grab a little more green. I'm going to make it a little darker. And maybe there's a little bit of brush kind of drifting along, make another little line here of, maybe there's another fence here. Maybe there's, This might be a little close together, but let's make, like I said, a little brush. A little subtle bit of, give them something to chew on, you know, these cows. All right, I think I want a little bit more movement in these shadows here, the leaves. Shaping up nicely. Maybe a little more to the leaves in the background. I'm liking where this is going. Maybe there's some other structures. Maybe in this area, right? Unknown. Make it look busier. Almost looks like a moose head. We can't have that. Let's add a little more green down here. Great thing about painting is you can, you mess up, you can paint right over it, which I do all the time. That's why I was always a better painter than I was draftsman. All right, and then settle part there. We're almost done. I think, like I said, this is shaping up nicely. And maybe a little color up in the skyline a little bit. Not too much, just a hint. Maybe add that golden hue. Can't forget to put the shadows near the cows as well, right? They're going to have shadows here, shadows here. Just like that, we're getting the painting done pretty quickly and having fun doing it too, right? Little ears there. And let's do, I want to have a little more touch of color right back here. Maybe even a little brighter. So it draws your eye. All right, I think that's it. I think that might be all I want to do with this painting. Maybe I'll add a couple more hints of a little brighter color in this region here at the top where it really, the sun's really going to hit it, right? It really is going to pop around here. Oh yeah, we're also going to add a little bit of tips of the flowers, right? Let's have these, we're gonna have some white flowers here. Let me get some white. Maybe a little bit of, maybe back here too, a little bit of white, little flowers. Maybe some red flowers, right? We'll just add a little bit of texture down here so we can see them moving around. Not too much that it takes away from the painting, just to show there are some pretty things in here being moved around. me step back. I think I want to brighten up one more area of this painting before I call it quits. That's over here. Maybe right back here. Like I said, just kind of going with it, whatever I think looks right, feels right. We're almost done. Maybe some little branches in here, right? All right, I think that's where I'd like to stop. I'm happy with the flow. I'm happy with, the composition, the colors, and I think they all play nicely together. And I think we're going to sign it here. And Thiele, a new Thiele original that we painted together. So thanks for watching Painting America. Today we painted a picture of the Florida Panhandle. Next time, send me a picture and maybe it'll be featured on this show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at thiele.adam.